Tottenham return to Norway. Yes guys, welcome back to another video on the channel, and today this is the matchday preview for Bodo Glimt versus Tottenham. We are facing off against the Norwegians yet again. Of course, we all remember what happened the last time we faced against Bodo Glimt. Of course, we won 3-1 in the first leg of the Europa League semi-final. We went to their place. Everyone was saying, oh, our Spurs going to bottle it, you know, the artificial pitch, the conditions. But we silenced everyone and we won 2-0. And, of course, we did go on to win the Europa League final. And hopefully we'll get another win over Bodo tonight. Bodo will probably want a little bit of revenge, but it hopefully won't happen. So make sure to smash the like, subscribe, and let's get into the video. Okay then, so what's the form coming into today's game at the Asmira Stadion in Bodo? So we'll start with Spurs, who have a draw, win, win, and a loss. Our last game was a 1-1 draw at home to Wolves. For Bodo Glimt, they have a win, draw, win, and a loss. Their last game was a 3-1 win against Odd in the Norwegian Cup. Okay then, so what is my score prediction for today's game against Bodo Glimt? Now, like I said, Bodo Glimt will probably be wanting a little bit of revenge because obviously we knocked them out of the Europa League, and of course we ended their dreams of winning a European trophy. I don't think a Norwegian team's ever won a European trophy. I don't really know. To be honest, I'm sure people can tell me if a Norwegian team has won a European trophy in the comments. But you know, a lot of people will be expecting Spurs to win tonight. But like everyone was saying back in May when we played them in that second leg, you know, Bodo Glimt have got the artificial pitch. You know, they'll know what it's like, you know, with the artificial pitch, the weather, etc. Obviously, we know kind of what it's going to be like as well, because of course we did play there in May. Obviously, you know, the new signings that we bought in, Kudus will have to get used to the pitch, the weather, and that. So will Xavi Simons as well, and maybe some of the players that maybe didn't play against Bodo Glimt when we played them in the Europa League. And also as well, tonight is going to be a very, very, very different game to as it was in the Europa League. When we played them in the Europa League, obviously Bodo Glimt were 2 goals down. They had to go for it. They had to be very attacking. They had to go for it, essentially. And of course, they were quite open at the back sometimes. I mean, I saw this video. I actually saw a video from a Bodo Glimt fan on TikTok the other day that when we played them away, because apparently Bodo Glimt rarely concede from corners, and of course when we went 1-0 up, which was I think from a corner, it was quite rare for Bodo Glimt because, like I just said, they don't really concede from corners, etc. But tonight, Bodo Glimt will probably be. I expect Bodo Glimt to probably sit back and defend and probably go for a point, to be honest. I mean, they did get a point in their opening Champions League game away at Slavia Prague. They were 2-0 down as well, Bodo Glimt at Slavia Prague. So Bodo Glimt did do quite well to come back from 2-0 down to get a point, especially with it being away from home. And considering as well that Bodo Glimt's away record in Europe isn't great. That's in all the competitions they've played in. That's the Conference League and the Europa League. Their away record isn't great. So to come back from 2-0 down, I know people say, oh, it's only Slavia Prague. But Slavia Prague are a bigger team than Bodo Glimt. You know, Slavia Prague got more experience in Europe than Bodo Glimt have. So for Bodo Glimt to go there, come back from 2-0 down and take a point, it's a good result for them. And, you know, like I said, they'll want to win, because obviously we were the team that knocked them out of the Europa League last season. And of course we did end their dreams of winning the Europa League, which would have been a huge achievement for Bodo Glimt, considering what, 5 years ago they were literally playing in like the non-leagues of Norwegian football or something. And now of course they're just bossing it in the Norwegian league. And plus as well, but Bodo Glimt will have some of their key players back who didn't play in the Europa League semi-final tie against us. I mean, Patrick Burke, I don't think played in the tie. He'll probably play tonight. Some of the key players, especially in that midfield area for Bodo Glimt, will be back for this game, because they obviously didn't play when we played him in the Europa League last season. But overall, I think it will be a good game. A lot of people will be expecting Spurs to win. Bodo Glimt will make it difficult. I'm sure they will. But I think defensively we should be okay, but I just think going forward, we just need to be a little bit more threatening if we can. You know, we try get an early goal if we can inside the first, 15, 20 minutes. Try get an early goal and put Bodo Glimt under a bit of pressure. But it'll be a tight game, but I'm going to back Tottenham to win by 2-1. Okay then, so what's my predicted lineup for today's game against Bodo Glimt? So in goal, I've gone with Guglielmo Vicario. Now, people have been kind of slating Vicario in a sense, and people have been saying that Kinski should be the #1 because of his very good performance against Doncaster. But we've got to remember, guys, this is no offence to Doncaster. It is only Doncaster Rovers. Let's not get too carried away. So I'll go with Vicario in goal. Back for Pedro Porro, Kevin Danso, Mickey van der Ven and Jed Spence. There is no Christian Romero for tonight's game, which is very annoying. Apparently he didn't train yesterday. And apparently Frank said in his press conference that it's a precaution. So Danso will probably come in tonight. And, I mean, Danso is good, to be fair. When he does play, he puts in a real good shift. So I think he'll have a good performance tonight, alongside with Van der Ven and Spence at left-back. I mean, I'm not really bothered if it's Spence or Udogie at left-back, but I'd rather Spence, in my opinion, you know, to probably deal with the likes of Patrick Berg, etc. For me, the two defensive midfielders, I think it has to be João Palhinha and Pat Sarr. João Palhinha's done really well recently, and Sarr, I think he's been off the bench. I think he's been on the bench in the last 2 games. I can't remember if he came on against Wolves, but he didn't even come on at all away at Brighton. But I think Sarr has to start tonight alongside João Palhinha in that more defensive role of the midfield. I'll drop Bentancur in my opinion. And then the attacking midfielders, I'm going to go with Mohamed Kudus on the right. I mean, he was okay. It probably wasn't his best performance against Wolves on the weekends, but I think he'll start. Xavi Simons, I am telling you now, has to start in the 10. If I do not see Xavi Simons starting in that number 10 position, I'm going to be very annoyed. He's decent on the left wing, but he's more suited to playing in the number 10. I mean, he came off the bench, I think, against Brighton, played in the 10. Look at the difference he made. We were 2-0 down, well, 2-1 down, actually, I should say, away at Brighton. Simons comes on in the 10 and he completely changes the game. Simons has to start tonight in the 10 because he will cause that Bodo Glimt defence problems. I'm going to go with Odubel on the left as well. I mean, Real Madrid have scored. Bloody hell. Sorry, I am actually watching the Real Madrid game at the moment. But yeah, I'm going to go with Odubel on the left. I mean, picking Odubel, Johnson and Tau is three of the bad bones, to be fair. But I think Odubel should start. He can be quite annoying at times on the ball, Odubel. But I feel like, you know, with his pace and his techiness, etc., I think he will do well. And maybe, hopefully, put some good balls into the box for Richarlison, who I think should start up front, in my opinion. I mean, Richarlison has been a little bit frustrating recently. But let's be honest, I mean, would you rather Richarlison or Matthijs Tau? Matthijs Tau is a bit useless up front, in my opinion. So I'd rather Richarlison be up front, in my opinion, instead of Matthijs Tau. I mean, maybe you could put Simons up front, who knows? But Simons, I'd rather see Simons in the 10. So, yeah, so predicted lineup then. Vicario in goal. Porro, Danso, Van der Ven, Spence, Palhinha, Sarr, Kudus, Simons, Odubel, and Richarlison. So, thank you for watching this video. Smash the like, subscribe. Stay tuned to the vlog and reaction to the game. And hopefully Spurs can make it 2 from 2 wins in the Champions League. Come on, you Spurs.